Hey, Heidi Ho, average Americans. I was recently just watching Matt of Flophouse Plays, previously of Super Best Friends, rank his Resident Evils, and as a person who played every single more or less mainline game of Resident Evil this year, I'd like to put in my 2 cents for literally no reason except I'm drunk. So let's start. Resident Evil 2. I assume that's the original. I simply haven't played it. Resident Evil, I assume that's the original. I simply haven't played it, but I heard the voice acting was very funny. Now, that being said, I may not have played it, but I have seen playthroughs of it. And so, they still fall in this category. Resident Evil 2 Remake, not only have I played it, I've played both Leon's campaign and Claire's campaign, and I'm saying it's pretty darn good. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, simply haven't played it. Resident Evil 3 Remake, girl, not only have I played it, but I played it with a bunch of unlocks, and it was a good time. Resident Evil 4 Original, you're gonna be so mad at this. I hated that game. The only reason you like it is because you have nostalgia for it. Get over yourselves. It was terrible. Oh, it was just a nonstop wave onslaught of enemies. It was not good. Resident Evil 4 remake, fine, just because they you know what? Fine. Just because they fixed a bunch of like old-timey gameplay issues. See, the issue here is that you're biased. You played these games when you were a kid 30 years ago when they came out, not nowadays where I have only touched it like within the last year. Okay, you don't you don't know, all right? And that's okay. That's fine that you don't know. But what you think you know is nostalgia. And just because that's the way things have always been done doesn't mean that's the way things should be done. And Resident Evil 4 Original should not have been done. Sure, it changed everything about gaming in its time. But guess what? We're in a different time. And speaking of a different time, if you were to play this in this current time, terrible. Resident Evil 4 Remake, however, perfectly fine. Resident Evil 5, my friend and I did co op, which is its only strength. This game was absolutely terrible. This one was actually literally a non-stop onslaught of enemies. Absolutely terrible. The system of having to split up your, who the hell is that, of having to split up your weapons and ammo and blah 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 and blah. Oh my god, I hated that game so much. We didn't even finish it. It was so bad. Resident Evil 6. You think 4 and 5 were bad? What is this button? No, not that button. No, certainly not that button. What am I even doing? That was fine. Simply haven't played. This button. No, that's not even the button I clicked. No, stop it. Fine. Haven't played terrible. This button. Add a row below. Somehow the biggest worst. Resident Evil 6. I couldn't get an hour into Leon's campaign. It was terrible. Resident Evil 7. Now we're with the big boys. It was perfectly fine. Wasn't as enjoyable as RE2 or 3 remake, but RE7 was perfectly fine. Now we get to Village. Girl, I got to play Village with a lightsaber. It was pretty darn good. Fine. Code Veronica. I got like 3 hours into this, didn't even upload the recording because I hated it, but it's still better than RE6. So it was terrible. But I have seen a playthrough on it. I swear to God, I'm not clicking the arrow! That's where Code Veronica lives. What is that? Dead Alive? Never even heard of it. Gaiden? Never heard of it. I can't even read what that says. Definitely haven't played that. Don't. Resident Evil Remake? I still think about playing this game, and it's been months. This is the best one they've made. Resistance came with some of the games I bought. I can't even tell what this is. Wait, is that Revelations 2? Okay, first off, Revelations 1, I had an amazing time with it. Great or good? Great or good? Let's see. If Masterpiece's RE1 remake, then this is how this goes. Revelations 1 was so fun simply because it took place on a boat the entire time. Like, the setting alone was amazing. If this is Revelations 2, it's going in good. Actually, it's going with fine. And actually, this is going here. Reverse, never played. Survivor 2 Code Veronica, I assume that says. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. The something Chronicles, but it doesn't look like it says Umbrella Chronicles. What does that even say? The Dark Side Chronicles? Get out of here. Never played. Mercenaries, never played. Umbrella Chronicles, never played. Umbrella Corps, never played. Resident Evil 0. Here's where it comes down to the boys from men. Aside from one remake, this is the only one I ever think about. You're so mad right now.